Well, one of the things I enjoyed being involved with, around about that time in the early 1970s, the large psychiatric hospitals were being closed down, and people who'd been patients there for years, more or less, pushed away in asylum at places like Brock Hall, Calderstones, the epileptic colony at Langho, type of things you don't hear of anymore. People who'd been hospitalised for years were moved back to the local authority that had sort of responsibility for them. I mean, particularly people with what we call now people with learning difficulties, when I started work, they were referred to as subnormals. You know, that was the file, it would say subnormal file, you know. And then they became the mentally handicapped, and then eventually now with learning difficulties. So the whole process was called normalisation. So, you know, that was a good thing, integrating people, taking them out of asylums, which I can understand were safe places from some areas that the family had been living in before, but reintegrating people back into Wigan Borough, to local families, to local services. I think that was a good thing, and transforming how people with learning difficulties are seen. Well, I think in relation to people with learning difficulties, I think that's where the biggest change has been in how people are seen and better treated. But also, I would say the big change in the situation for LGBT people in the working environment and in society generally, you know. I think that's the biggest thing. It's certainly the biggest thing that's impacted on my life. Also, when I started work, we had a moral welfare officer employed who dealt with unmarried mothers. So the whole changes in social attitudes has been phenomenal. And thankfully, people, I think, are better treated now than they were in the past. A whole different outlook.